Okay guys, good afternoon and welcome to the train, which is just about to pull out of the station. We are just about to move off, and we have got with us today, our two guests are Karen, who's a spiritualist medium.
Hello.
And we have Bernard, who apart from running his own group is also a paranormal investigator. And one of the things I'm going to be very interested in finding out about is what exactly is paranormal, what exactly is spiritual, and how do you investigate it. So, can we? Okay.
There I go.
We're getting it two ways here. Okay. If we just have a little look at this, I mean, my understanding of what is paranormal are things which are rooted to the physical, whereas things which are spiritual and what a medium does is communicating with people who are dead, basically. Tell me, Bernard, what do you think of what is paranormal? What's a paranormal investigator do?
For me, it's to explore anything unexplainable. So, just something that you've gone through all the logistics, all the common sense, all the debunking. Yeah, that was the word. Thank you. It's gonna go down south from here. Anything that cannot be physically explained logically. However, that's when we start looking at different terms of something else exposing it.
Okay, so how do you do your investigations? I mean, we've all seen them on the TV, we've all seen Derek Acora and so on the TV doing his stuff. So how do you go about doing your investigations?
We don't do anything like that.
Oh,
So yeah, we do ours where we will take public, or we'll even do private ones where we'll go to a place for 6 hours, 8 hours, investigate, do whatever we can. But things like that, they're filmed over 24 hours. You can get a good bit of telly out of that. Whereas ours, sometimes they are lonely, boring.
cold.
Very cold. But
Every now and again you'll get some exciting.
exactly, that
And it's worth doing it.
tiny bit of
You've done this
sitting
as
there.
well then.
Yes.
So what have you done that's been exciting?
Listen, I've got a bad memory. The most exciting thing that comes to mind is when we went, like I said earlier, we went down under the ground, really 150 feet under the ground, pitch black. We were having to use our torches. We sat there in absolute darkness, and then little lights started shining everywhere. But it only did it when we asked them to do it, so flashes of light, when we asked Spirit to make flashes of light.
Right, I want to have another look at this.
Yeah.
Because I want to talk to somebody who's a psychologist about this. But how much of that flashing of light is real, and how much of that is just in your heads?
Exactly. You don't know, do you? You don't, because
Oh, well, that was a simple answer. I wasn't expecting that.
We can't prove anything, can we?
Okay. So how do you know then? How do you know that those lights meant something?
Because it did it when we asked it to do it.
And it was the
And
same
it
for
was
everybody.
only, yes, everybody saw it, and we were only in such a small group, so there was no flashlights on, there was no torches on, there was none of the cameras on. It was just pure sitting there in stillness asking, and it did it.
Ooh.
After about 20 minutes of us asking, mind you. It didn't just happen straight away.
Yeah, but you've got to build your energy.
But you've got to build that energy up. But
We're
because
back to this word energy again. The energy keeps springing up all the time. In the trainings we do it, we talk to different people. Energy keeps springing up all the time. But if you've got to build that energy up, whose energy are you building up? Yours or the people that you are investigating?
See, I would say both.
I'd say
I would say our energy helps to build theirs up, because how we do our events, we always come in with laughter and love and respect, and we use the laughter, because I don't know about you, but for me that's the best form of energy. As soon as you
Laughter.
go and see a comedian, as soon as you get that laughter up, the place feels happy, it's got a buzz to it.
Okay.
And for me, it's the same with the events. If you can build that.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Sorry about that, guys. Do apologise. Go on. And you were
I
saying,
don't know, you've just
sorry.
asked me to.
Oh, I'm so sorry about that. I really am. And now I can't get it to stop. I'm so
Get
sorry
a rapper.
about that. That's terrible. that is spirit energy coming in to actually make
That's
it.
just people being annoying.
That's people being annoying. I should have said it before, but I was trying to stream this. But never
Don't worry.
mind. Never mind. I'll do it later. You were saying about building the energy, and you were saying
Yeah.
about laughter builds the energy. They also say music, which is why they
Yeah.
sing in
Singing.
church and why they sing in.
For me, it's just anything upbeat. Because if we were to just sit here and not do this interview and just sit in a room, you'll just feel that tension and that awkwardness, and it's not going to do any good for anyone, is it? Whereas if you get the music, if you get the laughter, if you get the just general chit chat, sometimes even when we've been on Invest, if we're just ignoring and talking amongst ourselves, they start getting nosy.
Who starts getting nosy?
The spirits who are wherever the place
Yeah.
that we're in,
How do they show they're getting nosy?
banging, tapping. They might move something, just some little tiny subtle hints just to make us flash out of it and just think, oh,
Okay.
we are actually here for something.
Let's just move this over a little bit for a minute, if you don't mind. Karen, you are a spiritualist medium.
Yeah.
You work as a medium.
Yeah.
What we've just been talking about is basically physical stuff. How does this work with you as a medium? How do you see things?
Well, it depends. Everything I do, and this is going to sound so, is in my head. So I always explain it to people as when you read a book. So let's take 50 Shades of Grey, for instance, because
As you
everybody's
would,
read
yeah.
50 Shades of Grey.
I've never
Yeah.
read 50 Shades. 50 Shades more, but
So when you read it, you're building that picture up in your mind. So when you can picture that red room with Christian Grey.
what red room?
Exactly. So it's the same with the spirit world. So the second I say to the spirit world, right, I'm here, I'm ready to work for you, come and use me, then pictures start building up in my head. So for instance, say I'll get a dad. How do I know it's a dad? Because they'll stand in a certain position in the room. So I'm very structured when I work with them. So when they come in, if they don't tell me the dad, wherever they stand tells me that they're dad.
Wow.
So every little
Wow.
thing that they do means something. So for instance, when they come in and I get a dad, they'll come and stand directly to my right hand side. Right? But then if they don't speak to me, then I know that they never got a chance to say goodbye to somebody before they went over to the spirit world.
Wow.
However, if they come in very quietly, but they are very, very talking but whispering, then I know that they didn't get a chance to say goodbye to people, but that person was around them. So every little thing I do and say is very structured with them initially to begin with, and that gets me connection, and then I'm just very strict with them. So if I'm not working,
Just take a step.
back a minute.
Let's take a step back because you just moved on quite quickly.
Go on then, sorry.
So, if I've heard other people say that if somebody comes and stands by them and they stand to one side, they are his side of the family, and when they come and stand on the other side, they're her side of the family. So this is mum's side and this is
Dad's side.
dad's side.
Very
Does that
similar.
work with you?
Very similar, yeah.
And then you're saying when they don't, what they say and what they don't say, and how they speak or don't speak, or how they appear.
How they appear, what they do, says
Okay.
everything to me. So I know if it's grandmother on mum's side, if it's grandmother on dad's side, they'll come in on this side of the room because it's female, but then they'll come and stand here.
So they've come in as a female and then stood on dad's side of the
So
family.
I know it's dad's mum.
Okay. that is structured. Go on.
But
you were gonna say
I was
something.
gonna put it because I work the same as Karen, not as well. But I have slightly different ways of doing it for her. Like she does.
I'm very
Whereas-
structured.
Because how I see them coming through to me is I essentially put a tube to the sky and I have someone come down, like a bit like the Black Mass.
I am just. this is fascinating, absolutely fascinating, because it's seeing how two different people work. So, if you take, how do you then get a message?
It then just goes about whatever they want to talk about. So
So they do talk to you.
yeah. They'll speak to me, but again, all in my head. So I won't be able to sit there and speak to them the way me and you were speaking. That is ultimately my end goal. right? My ultimate end goal with my mediumship is to allow somebody to sit there through me and have a full-blown conversation with their loved one. Now, is that ever going to happen? Probably not, because the spirit world don't tend to work that way. But I will never give up until that happens with me.
When you say never give up,
Yeah.
what do you mean?
I will continue until I go to my grave of trying to perfect that.
Right now. Well, in other words, you could come back to somebody when you've been in your grave. You can pop out and come back to somebody and do it with them. No, what I'm not. What I'm saying, no, what I was going to say to you is, how is there some special work you do? Is there something you do which actually helps you to go further with these things?
Workshops. So I do try to attend workshops the best I can without getting bored. I get bored very, very easily. I'm very distracted very, very easily.
Well, I have heard this.
But
yes.
that is my personality, isn't it?
I'm not saying anything. I'm not saying nothing.
But that's my
She's a woman.
personality. But you will, if I'm not working, so if I'm not doing private readings or doing church demonstrations or doing centres or doing my own public thing, you will always find me in an open circle.
Let's go back a bit.
Oh, John, just 1 second.
Yes,
So
sir.
we have Sharon Nicholson in the chat who's seen Karen at one of her local church things and said you were amazing.
Oh, thank you.
We just
So
want to be
there you
able to
go.
respond to the chat when we can. There are a lot of people in the chat finding you both very fascinating.
Thank you
Really?
very much.
How much have you paid them?
I don't
I don't know. She's her sister, really.
I'll
I think.
talk later.
Years and years and years ago,
Yes.
people used to sit for
20
not
years.
years and years and years.
Yeah.
I know one couple in Southport who used to sit every day at the same time, in the same place, in the same chairs. They didn't go on holiday, they didn't do anything, they just gave up everything just to sit. And in their room they had a trumpet, they had a, which looks like a street cone, a roadworks cone. They had a trumpet, they had a tambourine, they had bells, and they just sat there and they sat around in a circle with these things there, and that was it.
Yeah.
And nothing happened for years. And then one day, the trumpet picked up. Nobody touched it.
I remember reading about
The
this.
trumpet picked up, and somebody spoke through the trumpet. This was called direct voice.
Yeah.
And subsequently, the lady in that group actually used to get taken over into a trance by a particular person. I can't remember the detail of that person, but I have been there when that happened. And she was a little, slim little lady, and her voice changed completely. A man's voice.
Wow.
Yeah? And also, this also happened with a person called Queenie Nixon. Don't know if you ever remember Queenie Nixon?
No.
She,
Before our time, I think, Bernard.
she used to do transfiguration,
Yeah.
where I've seen her grow a beard.
Change.
Not just me, a whole group of people have seen her grow a beard. Now, that's what used to happen. Today seems to think a bit different.
It's so fast now.
Now, technology's changed, everything works faster, we all communicate faster and more easily. Now people seem to want it instantly.
Yeah.
They don't want to work for it, they don't want to be, they just want to have it.
Which I have to admit, I have issues with. Right.
Go on.
I have issues with it, and the reason being is how can you need to understand something, understand what you're doing before you do it. So you wouldn't necessarily take a car apart without being able to put it back together. And that's the same with mediumship. Understand where it's coming from, understand the ins and outs of it, how you're communicating, and how the spirit will use our knowledge and experience to be able to pass that message on, but also do it with empathy. There's a lot of people that are coming in that just do it straight away, that lack that empathy and knowledge to be able to, because we help people more than what we actually realise that we help people, and we, excuse my language, piss people off more than what we realise. We piss people
Oh,
off.
that's going to piss a lot of people off, no doubt.
Most of my followers and I think I'm doing really well, not swearing.
You-
Yes,
You can swear a little
I
bit.
do. But without understanding it, we can't do it. And a lot of people are coming in doing it without actually understanding it.
Yeah.
And then when they're not getting anywhere, when they're hitting a brick wall, they're then having hissy fits,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
So I agree, sit with it, sit and learn. I don't meditate. I'm probably one of the very few mediums that don't meditate, right? But what I do is I do have a little ritual how I ask spirit to come forward before I start working.
So hang on, stop. Let me just stop you there, because basically, don't know about you, Bernard, or what,
Yeah.
but I would say that is a kind of meditation. Let me ask you another question.
Go on.
When you find yourself in the car on your own,
Yeah.
do you ever find yourself talking to people who
Constant.
aren't there?
No, I'm on the phone all the
Oh,
time.
are you going to ask?
Yeah.
That's this one,
I don't sit still.
Bernard, let me ask you the same. So you're a woman. You're expected to do
Yeah.
that. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that.
No, shut
Let
up.
me ask you the same question.
Yeah.
I mean, do you find yourself when you're quiet? Do you sit and meditate first of all?
Can't do it. Cannot do it. I've tried and I've tried and I fall asleep.
Hang on a minute. Let me just ask you. Do you fall asleep, or do you actually go into a deeper state
No,
of
I
meditation?
fall asleep. I woke myself up snoring.
Okay, fair enough.
Properly asleep. But I do the same as
But
Karen.
it's
Just
just as
before.
quick as saying, I'm ready, come on. And
You
off we
shut
go.
up.
Sorry, come on. Stop wanting again, sorry.
I'm not going to compliment you. That you just
Go on.
No, I do the same as Karen. Before I do my circle, or I've gone to an open circle, or I've gone to even a demo, just in case something happens, I'll do the same. I'll just take a moment in my head, just ask out for whoever, and then just sit while I'm watching someone or while I'm in a circle, and just sit and see if I can talk to someone.
Now, you're not a woman.
No.
Do you find yourself, when you're in the car on your own, talking to people?
Not to people, but I do talk. I do give out.
No.
Yeah?
So I don't necessarily talk to someone, but I just sometimes do talk.
Okay, because I find myself when I'm in the car, I have a very old friend of mine who's dead now, who used to love to sit and just come and sit in the car and go driving wherever we went. He'd just come with me, whatever I was doing. He's still there. I still
Sat
find
there,
him
yeah.
sitting in the car when I'm driving off somewhere. People are going to think me nuts, but I actually have been known to ask him, would he mind, if somebody wants to get in the car, would he mind vacating the seat so they could get in? That sounds stupid,
Do you
but
just
I mean,
sit on top of him even reading?
you sit through him, yeah. Do you find you do the same thing when you do your paranormal activities, when you do your paranormal stuff? Do you find that you've got a group of people? Do you get together? Is it a group of people?
Yeah, we have volunteers, so we have a team of what's it called, 10, 12
Okay.
volunteers.
Do you get together before you go and do whatever it is you're going to do?
We try to as possible, as most as possible, but usually it is maybe most probably just like an hour before the event when we're setting up. We'll just take 5 minutes just to sit.
Hang on, you said something there. You said setting up. What's setting up involved?
So, just taking the team around the location, just showing them where we've got for the evening, where
Okay.
we're investigating, and any equipment or tools basically, just that we're going to use through the night.
What sort of things do you use?
Spirit boards, we use...
We don't know what a spirit board is.
like a Ouija board.
Ah,
Ah,
oops.
no oops.
Go on.
So we use them, never had any trouble. It's just all Hollywood hype until something does happen.
I think that it's the same as anything else.
It's
If
just
you
another
know
communication
how to use
tool.
it, if you
Yeah.
know what you're doing, that's okay. Like Karen said,
Setting the intention.
Exactly.
Everything about the spirit world and energy is about setting an intention.
do you know what I love is when somebody comes on the train and there've been somebody 2 or 3 weeks before has been on the train who said almost exactly the same thing. And it was, I think, was it Anne-Marie? I think she said it was all about
Setting
Intention.
intention.
everything is about intention.
Because our
'Cause-
intention when we go on there is just to
Investigate.
talk. It's basically just what you do,
Yeah.
just in a different form. We're going to a place to find them, where you go to a public place and invite them to come to you. It's exactly the same, but we just go to their home, whereas they'll come to you.
Can we just examine then the difference between these two? Because I've heard you've got things like psychic energy, which is where there is a residual history of energy. For example, there's a place called Stanley Palace in Chester,
Yeah.
which is one of the oldest buildings in the country.
You could
and it's built. You've visited that?
Yeah.
It's built on a Roman road.
Yes.
Or I mean, most of Chester is built on a Roman road. Let's face it, but it's built on a Roman road,
Yeah.
and you can see centurions marching through the floor. They're from there down.
I've heard of it.
I've seen it.
I've not seen
I've
Is
seen
it
it.
fun?
From there down,
No.
you've got these guys marching. They're actually marching on the road
That was underneath.
that was underneath. They're still on that road, but it's a memory. They're not real.
No, they're not. Yeah.
Because at the same time, there are, I'm going to say real spirits now, which is probably
Residual
contradictory to them.
energy.
It's
Yeah.
not residual energy, that's residual energy.
Yeah.
But there are 2 monks in there as well, who actually,
Stay there.
they are there, you can see them, they stay there. And that's, sorry, I've asked you a question.
And then
I-
we're
I-
just doing it.
Yes, John. So for once, we have plenty of questions in the chat. If you want to use any of those.
Please do, please do. Is
All
that
right.
guys?
Yeah, yes.
First of all, there's so many fans of you in the chat. I don't know who you paid money to, but and also a lot of people who recommend your skill set. So, first one here is from Lisa Pentagram. I think it's one of your
That's
people
one
there,
of my
Reverend.
ones.
She says, when did they, meaning the both of you, first know spirit was there?
That's interesting.
That's a good question.
See, now, how was yours?
See, I was kind of, my mum was always really interested in it, right? Now, she's not a medium, she was never working, she was never psychic, but she did used to always get tarot card people coming round when we were kids. And do you remember the old gypsies that used to knock on your door and
Yeah.
sell you the little
Yeah.
charms, and you had to give them, well, my mum was always into all stuff like that, so I was always aware of my mum's belief in it, although if you ask her now, she'll tell you it's crap. But, so I remember when I moved to Bradford when I was 17, came back when I was 18, and I was in a pretty bad place. And by the time I come back, I had a little baby, and my mum said to me this particular day, "Go on, why don't you go out for a bit?" She said, "I'll look after the baby," and I said, "And where am I to go, Mum? All my friends were off in college and university," and she said, "Oh, sure, there's a spiritualist church up the road." And I said, "Well, what's that?" I never heard of it. And she said, "You know, where they talk to dead people." So I thought, oh, okay. So phoned my sister, and off I went, and I've just been hooked on it ever since. And it just helped me through depression, I think, to be fair. It just gave me a sense and it gave me a purpose. That was back in 2001. And then I didn't become aware of spirit myself physically until 2008ish.
Interesting. What about you, Ben?
I gone on some paranormal nights. That's how I got into it, and then through starting my company, I met a medium from the church in Egbert, and he just said one night, "Come down, have a look." So I thought it was, I didn't know what he was saying. And he just said, "Come down one night, have a go," and then the second night I went, he was just like, "Get up, give a message," and boom.
And off you went?
And
So
that's that.
so you just like thrown into it, really, aren't you?
Okay, I've got another question for you.
So, Lord Queen Yates says, this Karen, you have been to the U Tree before a couple of times. That's the U Tree pub in Preston. She said, "Can you tell me if this place has any spirits? I believe I've seen things and I have always felt a presence. Be interested to know how you felt coming into the building."
Laura, I'm sorry. It rings a bell.
Well, no, but the Preston place you're talking about?
Preston place. I do a lot of pubs and clubs everywhere.
Yeah, seems that way.
Laura, I'm so sorry. I'm trying to remember which one it is off the top of my head.
In Preston?
I do a lot in Preston.
Okay.
But I really can't remember. However, because I wasn't coming into the building for that, I probably wouldn't have picked up on the building itself, unless, again, it's setting that intention. If I was coming in for it, I'd be able to pick up on it, but because I would have been there doing a demonstration, I would have been asking for people's loved ones to come forward rather than people linked to the building.
Sounds to me like you've got an invitation to go for a drink. the
Yeah.
tree
And they
and have a
do.
look at the building.
So I mean that's a good thing
Sorry,
though, isn't it?
Laura.
I'm sorry, that's a good thing though, isn't it? Is that just because you have the ability doesn't mean that it's always switched on,
No,
right?
it's not.
No, it isn't.
It's
It
no.
isn't.
I'm so strict with it anyway. I mean, a lot of people say to me, does it not tire you out? Do you not get annoyed when
No.
you walk around the supermarket? No.
The major
because
thing
it
about
does
all
not.
of this, which, and this is going back to what I was saying before about
Discipline.
sitting and so on,
Discipline.
is discipline.
Discipline.
We miss it.
Yeah.
And especially, I'm losing my words here, but especially at the moment when things want to be so fast and want instantaneous, people aren't prepared to be disciplined.
No.
And at the end of the day, you've got to be as strict with them as they are with you.
Yes.
And you have to say no.
It's the one thing I always say, between myself and the spirit world, it is a relationship.
Yeah.
And it's, building on that relationship to know our own boundaries. And when it's my time, it's my time. When I'm ready to work, I say, come on.
Yeah, they're not going to stand there when you're on the toilet
No.
or anything like that. Bernard, tell me about you. When you're doing your paranormal stuff, do you find there that it's the same sort of thing? Or...
Yeah, because again, I do the same. If I'm going to a circle, I come with the intention of working as a medium there.
Yeah.
If I go to the investigations, I come in working as a paranormal investigator. So I come in with the same intentions. But for me, when I first started, it was just like, I'll come in for this, and that's when I'm working, that's it. Unless I say to you, I'm working now, I want to work. There have been times where I've just been, most probably having a lazy day, and it's just been like, you come in, bang, bang, bang. But the same discipline, really.
Okay.
Yeah.
I find this quite interesting because I go back to 1970.
We wasn't born then.
Yeah.
No.
And we don't remember that, you know.
1971 was 1972 was my first experience, and I also sat in circles where it was very strict. Very strict indeed, and it was total silence until you got to the end of the circle, and then this was a developing circle, and at the end of it you would then have the opportunity to discuss what you'd found, what you'd experienced during that silence.
See, now I don't.
I'd
agree
get
with
bored.
that. I really don't.
I mean,
Well, now the thing is, it was discipline and it
Yeah.
worked, and now because of that I got introduced to my guides.
I don't have them. Please, if my guides are around, come and find me.
I
because
got
I don't know who
introduced
you
I got
are.
introduced to my guides, so I know who they are.
Yeah.
I can actually see them, and I can communicate with them, and that's what we do.
Yeah.
And when it's time, it's time. When it's not time, it's not time. It's simple as that. But people today don't seem to be quite.
Again, it's as fast as a train. That's the way they want it. By the way, I did that. It's as fast as a train job. That's what people want.
Yeah.
Right. I know when I have different styles of mediumship to different venues that I go to.
Okay. So you work in a church, you work one way.
And I work
You
in a
work in a
pub.
pub, you work another way.
When I'm in a church, I am quite respectable.
It's a really good sight to
Yes.
see.
It's
Very rare. that you
What,
see
can
it.
be respectable?
A lot of the audience
Yeah,
seems to
sure.
agree.
So, yeah. When I'm doing pubs and clubs, you will see more of my vulture personality.
You have not really.
I have. So,
Oh.
so I will slur,
No.
right? I will mark my territory. Why? Pubs and
Stop
clubs, you'll get a lot of people drinking. And then you'll get a lot of what starts with banter that turns aggressive.
Yeah.
So then if you mark your territory before you go there, before you start, then people generally know where they stand.
They know
with
where
you.
they stand with it. Yeah. And you can
Yeah.
turn around and say, I'm not doing that because.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I've got that.
My centre that I run, it's more light-hearted. I'll have a laugh with everybody. Again, completely different as it would be if I went into Bernard's group or if I went into a church or another group.
Yeah, because I know that if we name a few groups, I mean, you've only got to look at someone like Dolby Street, which is quite as strict. It's a new church.
Yeah.
It's quite strict in the way it works, the way it does
I
things.
get bored.
You've got your Guardian group,
Yeah, Guardian
the
Spiritual.
Guardian Spiritual group.
Mm.
That's quite relaxed. That's in
Yes.
Kirby, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
very
quite
more
relaxed and quite nice. Your group is in Topseth, isn't
Yeah.
it? And that's the
Yeah.
Trinity. The Trinity group.
Trinity Spiritualist group, yeah.
Yeah.
Where's that?
In,
Topseth.
I'm in Tosses, that's
Oh,
what
yeah.
you're saying.
Belvedere Academy.
All
It's in
right,
school.
nice to know.
Nice school.
Wait a minute, I have one more question
Yeah.
before we go because
Please.
I've been demanded in the chat. Paula Goss is in the chat. She asked a question early on and she's now demanded that it be asked to Bernard. So she said Bernard. So she said she runs investigations. So how did you get your start and do you need to be trained in it?
See, I started through going to events itself. So different events. So I think there was a group down in Wolverhampton Ways. We went to them, to Newsham actually. And then we just got a bit of a bug that way. Me and my business partner. And then there wasn't as many up this way, up in the northwest, at the time of when we did it. So we thought we'd have a go, give it a tester, see how it goes, and then just through, obviously going to the churches as well, and going to the events, they both kind of came together, really,
Yeah.
and that's how I've trained up, basically. And then we've passed on our experiences to the team members we've got, so they can train up
So
as well.
training from experience as much
Yeah.
as anything else.
Because there's no formal qualification, and if anyone says there is, I'd like to see the paper.
Well, in actual fact, we are going to be bringing somebody
A parapsychologist.
onto the train.
See, now I wasn't going on about that because I've
No,
seen
yeah.
qualifications for paranormal investigators.
You
I'd
can't
love
get
to
it.
see all
Well, in
the.
actual fact,
I've watched
hoping-
Ghostbusters
I'm
myself.
hoping, I'm hoping that we're going to be able to do something about that. I'm hoping I'm going to be able to show you something about that because I'm in talking to somebody at the moment
Yeah.
who has put together a course with qualifications, and we'll take a look at that and
Send
see
them
how
on,
it
mate.
goes.
I want to
We'll
buy
see
it.
how it goes.
Yeah. Because I just want to see how that.
The only
Okay.
thing I will just add on to what Bernard said, if you don't mind, for Paula, is you'll get a lot of people, you get a lot of newbies onto paranormal investigations and in the churches, and you get a lot of people that are scared of the spirit world as well.
Yeah.
So, training, not necessarily to do it, training how to deal with people, absolutely.
Absolutely. Well, trained to deal with people and trained to actually run a service and to put things across completely. Just communication. We are drawing into our station now, so we've actually come to the end of our little journey.
And now we didn't
Um,
argue.
I'd like to thank you both for coming.
Let's get the social media handles though. Like,
Well, I was
where
going to
people
say
can find
that
us.
if you want to talk more to Karen or about Karen,
Because a lot of people want to talk to you, Karen.
all you've got
Oh,
to do,
sorry guys.
all you've got to do is Google her. All you've got to do is Google her,
Google
and
Karen.
she comes up everywhere. That's
Google.
yeah.
No, I'll never
Google
say it.
Karen Berry
Yeah, with an extra E
with an extra E.
Whereabout?
at the end before the Y.
Berrey. Yeah, okay.
Yes.
And also Karen's on Facebook. And you can also get Bernard, and Bernard is in trinityparanormalteam.co.uk, and he's also got trinityspiritualistgroup.co.uk.
We are also Facebook.
But
as
he's
well.
also on Facebook, so you can pick him up there, and it's not a problem. I want to thank you both for coming to see us, and thank you both for coming for a ride on the train.
Thank you for having
Okay.
us.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure.
Thank you.
Choo choo! It was
Oh,
fantastic.
yeah.
Got me wrong.